Alright, RoboHawks, welcome to VEXcodeVR Basics Crash Course. I'm going to show you everything you need here on how to get started, where things are, and what we're going to be using. There are some other videos for more specific blocks, but this is going to be your general housekeeping and where to get started. Alright, so when you open up, usually for the first time, you will see a screen like this. We are not using a class code. You are going to click Get Started and exit out so that we are brought to the screen that looks like this. This block right here that I am moving, this is called your hat block. This will be when you start a brand new blank project, the only thing that you see here. This is very similarly set up to all of the Google Suite things with your file items up at the top. So your saves, tools, tutorials, your undo button. This box right here up in the top center will be your auto saving. We'll talk about that shortly. You have your select playground, open playground, as well as start, step, stop, and share. These are our important buttons up top. For the sake of this, I'm going to show you how we're going to save. I'm going to start, it's going to ask you to create a name for your project. All of the projects in VEXcode Bootcamp have a code name. So you need to follow that code. I'm going to name mine Demo. It does not allow you to put in spaces. That is why I'm using the underscores. I'm going to click Save. And I'm not sure if you can see this, but it's going to open up my document screen, and I'm going to click Save again, just like you would any other document. Now you can see up the top my project name, and it says Saved. Now, in order to see our robot driving, we need to select a playground. You only need to do this once at the beginning of your program. You can change playgrounds during your program, but that is up to you. Your basic map is a grid map, and this is the one you'll start using in the introduction activity. I am allowing it to load up. If you are having a black screen on your Chromebook and getting a funky error message, refresh the page. You might have to do it more than once, but it should bypass through our school's security after that. So now you can see I have what is called my playground open up. You'll see I have a start and a reverse button here, as well as a timer that will track your robot while it is running. You can also change the camera angle. So right now we're looking at a bird's eye view, but you can also change to a floor view to see your little guy, and a kind of front eye view to see what he's doing. This is what your robot looks like. You can exit out of that anytime, and then click Open Playground here up at the top, and it will reload. You are able to slide this little window around to move it as you need while you are working. But over here, let's talk about your toolbox and control panel a little bit more to understand. Up here on the very top, you have your bright blue drivetrain blocks. You should be, if you have not already, going through your Quizlet to learn your terminology. So you should know by now that a drivetrain is what moves it forward. It's the motor system that has our forward items. So you'll notice that some of our blocks have very similar things, but they're a little bit different. We both have drive forward and drive forward 4, a number that we can fill in, and then a drop down. These drop-down menus are like toggle switches. So for example, this drive one offers us forward and reverse. Same thing over here in the drive forward block. If I attach my drive forward block and I open my playground and I start my robot down here in the corner, he's going to drive infinitively, and then he's going to hit the wall and flip over. Now to restart and reset him, I can either press stop or just hit restart. You can do the same thing up here in the top, up here with these white start and the white stop. However, if I do drive forward for 200 millimeters, that is what mm stands for. You can also translate it to inches. Each one of these grid squares is 200 millimeters. So when I ask him to go, he's going to go 1 square and stop. In order to delete blocks anytime, you drag them just back over into the toolbox bar, or you can right click on them and you will get this little menu. It will give you several options you can duplicate. So if you need another of that exact same block, but you don't want to go find it in your toolbar. If you need to delete block, oop, that is not one I wanted. If you delete the block, you can do that as well. Now, in order to use the help menu that you just saw, you're going to come up here to this little question mark. And then you are going to click on a block that is out on your floor. And it will give you a description of the block and what it is typically used for and how you might use it. I'm going to go ahead and delete this so we can continue looking at our sections. We are not in this project using our magnet, but our robot does have a magnet. Boost is turning the magnet on and turning it off. Looks. These are not the colors of your robot, but these are things that we can ask it to print out to tell us. You will notice things like pen, pencil, area fill color. We will be doing activities later on with those. Again, you can toggle different things for them, different sizes. All right, events, we have more hat blocks. So you could delete this hat block and if you needed a new one, or you can pull certain event blocks. So if I wanted to use my eyeball sensor on my robot, and I can tell it when, we can either use front eye or down eye. It has both one that faces forward and one that faces the ground. We're going to be using down eye in this boot camp, so I'm going to switch it to down eye. And we also have detects or loses, so when it sees or when it stops seeing. And then you are able to attach any of your set blocks. I'm just pulling random blocks onto it, and you would be able to run that set of code. You can have more than one hat block out on the floor at a time. For example, if I am going to change my velocity permanently, I like to attach my velocities to one block and leave it off to the side over here and do the rest of my coding on this strip. Anytime you see these white bubbles, these are numbers that can be changed by typing on your keyboard. If it goes up to a %, that means that it can only be up to 100, but things like the millimeter block, you can type in any number to these. Same thing with the degree blocks, but think about your mathematics skills and how degrees work. If we're going 90, then we're going 180, 270, and 360. You can also quick navigate over here on the sidebar. So I was in events, and now I would like to go to control. This is our orange blocks. You can see that we have things such as wait, repeat, forever, if, then. You'll notice they have these funny little diamond shapes. These are for Boolean cubes. So these if-thens function similar to a true and false. We will be talking about those a little bit more in another video. Your light blue is your sensing section, and there's several sensor sections that are broken down in here. So we have brain sensing, drivetrain sensing, bumper, distance, eye, and location. These circular blocks, or these pointy blocks, can be slid into our if-then blocks or anything with that little diamond Boolean shape. And anything, let me get a block to show you, with a rounded edges can go, oh, I don't know why it's not, you have to kind of line it up. It's not the easiest thing to do. You would be able to line this block up and drop it in here. If I come down here to my green operators, this is where our math comes in. And this does get tricky, but you are going to be using them in one of your projects, so you'll be able to have a chance to work through them. These are excellent examples of blocks. Let me see if this one will let me. No. Why aren't you letting me? Here, this one should let me. You can see you will have your yellows light up and line up, and it will drop in. your next section, this is where we are start to able to create our own blocks. We have things called make a variable. You can make as many variables as you need. I will talk more about those in the other video as well, along with make a boolean, make a list, and make a block. So you are able to create your own block. So I can name this test. And then over in my floor here, it will ask me to define tests. So maybe every time I attach the test block, I want my robot to drive 200 millimeters, look down with its eye, and look for the color red. So for example, that would look like I want my robot to drive forward for 200 meters. I want it to, I'm going to grab this block right now. And I'm going to grab an if-then block. So this is where I'm going to slide my I block in. So if-then, drive forward for 200 meters. If my eye detects red, then I want it to, I'm going to say turn right. And I can now get this from my blocks. I can get my test block. And if I open up my playground and press start, my robot will drive 100 for 200 meters. It has not detected red, so it is not turning right. The last section you have here is a comment section. These are grayed out tiles, and these are like notes tiles. You can attach them anywhere and write whatever you need inside of them. So these can be either for self-reminders, or this is great for if you are working on a group code. I do not recommend rewriting your entire code inside them. You don't necessarily, but it might be a good thing to note to yourself, hey, this is how far the distance is for something, or this is why I did this and I want to remember that. These do not affect your code. These are what are called pseudocodes, so it will not impact the rest of your active code. All right, that is your tour of the drivetrain toolbox, as well as the things that you can find in VEXcodeVR. And this applies to actually almost all of the VEX platforms. All of the toolboxes are very similar, as well as the saving process. You do not need to worry about the playgrounds in IQ, V5, things like that. We will, in another video, go ahead and talk about the share project button, though. That is how you're going to be exporting, so be on the lookout for that. Any questions? Come find me.